What's going on, everybody? ChumpChangeXD here. Hope you're all staying healthy and having a great day. As you can see, it's moving day. I actually took all this stuff out of my studio and my main location and decided to bring everything over here to the crypto mining garage because it is just awful, for one, to deal with the heat coming from the studio. I mean, as you guys saw, I did do a grow tent video and that's been working fantastic. But on the other side of it, why am I fighting two electric bills when I can just try to get everything into one location and call it a day? So real quick, let's flash over to the studio and I'll show you guys the breakdown of all this and my thoughts behind it. Then we'll get back here and we'll start setting things up. What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to be doing some moving because I have a bunch of cards that we need to get hooked up and I don't want to be running them all here. So we're going to be moving a lot of these guys. So basically, plan is to take that entire rig with the PSU and everything over to the new location. Then I'm going to take this RevTech board with these two cards, these three cards, and this motherboard right here that I've actually been waiting to use for a good while now, over to the crypto mining garage as well. So this motherboard right here, let me take it out of the box. So this motherboard right here is a riserless motherboard, as you guys can see. It is not all 16x slots, they are just normal 1x. But it comes with the CPU. This is some laptop RAM. I had to get this to stick here. And then I'm just going to use a USB with HIVEOS on it into here. We're going to throw all of the white 3060s on here, mining ERGO, alongside these brand new LHR 3060 Ti's, as you can see right there, on the same board. So I'm going to hope and pray that these cards don't get too hot being that close together. My plan is, though, to take this entire thing and just slam it to the back of the rack right in front of one of those intakes, and I'm hoping that that will keep these cards nice and cool. So main reason I'm doing this, obviously, I would like to consolidate my electric bill. I want to get most of these GPUs over to the garage. So basically I'm paying one bill, I'm not paying a bunch of bills. This AAA PDU right here, this is a 20 amp PDU that was meant for the garage. I'm going to be disconnecting this and taking it with me as well. So unfortunately, my computer is going to be shut down for a little bit. I think I might have to just run it off of 120 instead of the 240 because I'm going to be changing that locking outlet that right now is currently a 20 amp, which is right here, this 2-pole. I'm going to be changing that at a later date in another video to a 30 amp 2-pole breaker and to a 30 amp twist lock plug, just because I have a 30 amp AAA PDU that I want to utilize in my garage. So that's the plan. Without further ado, we're gonna start packing this stuff up. So I gotta shut this all down. I gotta shut my PC down. I'm actually gonna be removing this Aorus out of here as well because I think I'm gonna throw the Founders Edition into this computer. I'm gonna be taking my 3090 and putting it in my test bench. I have so much stuff that I gotta do right now, it's not even funny. So basically I'm gonna be playing musical GPUs, moving things all over the place. We're gonna do one thing at a time, move things to the garage, get that motherboard set up first, and then I guess we'll just have to make a couple videos because this video will just be way too dragged on if I do it all at once. So yeah, let's get all this shut down, shall we? All right, so we have HIVEOS, that's gonna be going with this motherboard, and then I just threw in the boxes these three GPUs. That's the new 6600 XT and the two new 3060 Ti's. So I'm gonna throw this foam in here just on top of the cards so I can lay a few other cards right on top. Basically these guys right here in this RevTech board. So I gotta disassemble this. I shut down the studio rig, as you guys can see. I have the For the Win 3 rig that is currently on Windows, so I need to shut that down as well. Yeah, so I gotta rip this rig out of there, gotta pack up these GPUs and the RevTech board, and I need to take the Aorus out of this PC, so we gotta shut this down as well. All right, let's do it. All right, that rig's down. RevTech, as you can see, all packed up. Now I gotta shut down my main PC to get that out, and then I have to disconnect that PDU. So I gotta kill everything that's going to it. All right, now I gotta unplug this so I can get this GPU out. I'm gonna dust this computer out because that's gross. I'll save that for when I get back, because I'm still gonna have to hook that 3070 up. Man, this is gonna be a lot of work today. Unplug the last cord. All right, now we'll just unplug the PDU from the wall, because it's clearly done. And actually, oh, I could shut that off. Well, that made a hell of a difference, didn't it? All right, so now I basically gotta disconnect this PDU from the wall, because I screwed it in, as you guys saw in the studio build. Yeah, and then we're gonna have to basically run this computer off 120 volt along with that rig until I get the PDU set up in the garage. So let's go load this box into the truck along with some of that stuff. I tell you what, I'm already regretting this because it's opening up so much more work for me. Let's get into the garage, disconnect those GPUs as well. All right, all shut down. So I think I'm only going to steal the 3060 out of this rig. I think I'm gonna put this downstairs with the for the Win 3 rig, and I believe I'm gonna keep the AMP Hollow with that rig as well. I haven't fully decided. Maybe I'll just take them all and decide while I'm at the garage. All right, so as you can see, this is my 3090. I'm gonna swap this with this Hollow, because while I was disconnecting these GPUs, I thought to myself, why am I going to keep a rig here? I might as well just take them all and let's get them set up over in the crypto mining garage. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're back. Yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts behind this. I'm fighting two disgusting electric bills, and I would rather just combine everything and just have, you know, one bill that I can throw up over instead of two. So I have my 20 amp AAA PDU that I removed from the studio because I do have a 30 amp one waiting to be installed. I just have to swap out the breaker and all that. But in the meantime of me doing that, I wanted to be able to still mine with all of these cards. I don't want to have them down. So my best option was to remove that, bring it here, and throw it in the empty outlet, which is actually right up there. There's an empty outlet. I had this garage prepped for 3 20 amp AAA PDUs, and I only have 2 being utilized right now. So let's plug the third one in, and I would like to, it stinks because I already cable managed this rig, but I'm gonna rip apart this rig. I wanna take all of those 3060s that are in the back over there, because those are all the OG 3060s that absolutely stink on Ethereum. So I am going to be mining ERGO on them, on that riserless motherboard that's in this box, and hopefully get it up on HIVEOS. And what I'm going to do is put it pretty much right here on the shelf, because I have the wind blowing from down below up onto the board, which will be sitting right here, and obviously the air coming from here. So that's going to be my plan. It's actually a little warmer on the bottom than you would think, because that was going to be my first option. But yeah, the RX 580 cards keep it pretty warm down there, so to be honest, the cool air is actually coming up at an angle. So that's going to be my best bet, either middle shelf or top. First thing I got to do is shut this rig down with my computer. Obviously, I'm going to go into Hive, I'm going to stop the miner, shut it down. I'm going to plug in the AAA PDU like I said, throw it on the middle shelf, move some cables from the top one down to the middle one to kind of organize, you know, probably power these ones from this PDU, these ones from the bottom PDU, and the top ones from the top PDU. And then, yeah, hopefully everything's a little more organized, because I need that. I just cannot stand how unorganized everything is. So let's get to it. Let me shut this thing down, and yeah, we'll start ripping it apart. What a difference, huh? I can actually hear myself thinking here. All right, so the reason I shut all these down, like I said, I want to organize the PDUs a bit. So these two rigs, it's gonna be 4 cables. Each server PSU has their own power supply. So I'm gonna remove the cardboard for the time being. And I am going to make sure that only these 4 are plugged into this PDU, which I think is the case. Seems to be that way. Okay, and then what we're going to do is same thing. So this one is actually plugged into 120 volt, which is that wall plug down there, because the PDU was exceeding, it was going to like 18, 19 amps. I don't know if you guys remember in that video. Yeah, I can't have that, so that's why it's plugged in there. I am going to be putting that onto the PDU now as well, which is another reason I couldn't wait to get this thing over here. So I'm gonna move, like I said, all this cardboard just for the time being, so I can actually work in here. The big fan in the garage is still on, so that's still pulling a nice draft through here. As you can see, it's still spinning that fan even though that one's off. Yeah, all right, let me organize all this, and then I'll explain what I did and how I did it, and we'll go from there. So there we have it. What do you guys think? Everything is all wire tied with those Velcro straps, all nice and neat on every rig. I am super excited that I finally had time to do all that. So now next step is to break apart all of these 3060s back here. Those are the cards that have been mining ERGO, and we're going to be throwing them on this riser, this motherboard, like I said before. Then I'm going to be replacing all the 3060s with these cards from the studio rig, so that's still a full 13 GPU mining rig. And we're going to stick the 3060 Ti's, these 2 brand new cards, the LHR models that we just got, right beside mining ERGO with the white cards. So I have to throw the RAM in here, and we basically just need to get this thing powered up. So we're going to be using the 1200 watt P2 PSU from here, because that should be enough to run all 8 of those cards. Roughly altogether be about 900 watts, so that's a pretty safe number for me. So what I'm going to do right now is take the PSU off of this frame. I am going to throw the RAM in here, and you guys will see that done in just a second. Alright, so I voted against the 1200 watt P2 PSU, and I went with the 1600 watt that was on the studio rig. So reason behind this, for one, it already had little nice rubber stands on it, so I'm just gonna sit it like that on top of the PDU. Hopefully that's okay. Then each one of these ports, right, for this riserless motherboard still has a feed per lane basically. So I ended up taking one VGA cable and splitting it twice. So one VGA cable feeds 4 risers basically on each side. Should be okay. Risers don't pull that many watts, so I'm gonna turn this on and see basically if it gets hot or anything like that. But logic behind this, so if you guys can see, there is 9 VGA spots for cables on the back of the 1600 watt, and on the back of the 1200 there is only 6. So there is going to be 1 cable for each GPU, because these 3060s have 2 8 pins on the back of them, and they're split down to this point. So there's going to be 1 VGA cable feeding each one of those. And my logic behind that is to split one last VGA cable between these two 3060 Ti's, because they only have 1 8-pin each. So I'm hoping that works out fine. Math-wise, for the wattage, it should be okay. They only pull over like 100, 120 watts a piece. So 1600 watts, 8 times, say 100 is 800 plus another 200 is about 1,000. So I'm well within the range you should be in with the power supply. So I'm just hoping that the PCIe lanes being powered like that, the riserless risers, are okay. But I guess there's only one way to find out. We just got to test it. So now I'm going to rip apart all of these 3060s, throw them in here, and let's turn her on. Look at that. That looks awesome. But it makes me nervous at how hot they're going to get. So I guess we will see. We have a good breeze, like I said, coming through here from below, which is why I put the cardboard back just before we turn it on. Why don't we just turn this rig on for now? I actually, in the process of removing these and putting them in here, I removed all those cards and I did swap them out. Just so before I leave tonight, I can get everything up and running, and the only cards that are down are right here and those 2 cards there. I don't know if I'll have time tonight, but I'll try to get them out. But this video is obviously gone on way too long, so I'm not going to be putting all these on the RevTech today, or in this video rather. So why don't we turn this on, see what she looks like, and then we will fire up every other rig, because I'm gonna have some work to do on the overclocks on this one, and I have to get this one set up to begin with. Actually, I think I put the rig ID from the studio onto this USB, so this should take over the studio rig, but I still need to mess with all the overclocks. Double check all the connections. And by the way, these are the brand new white splitters from GPUrisers.com. These things are fantastic. I believe they're 18 gauge, so they're super heavy duty. They're very strong, and the quality is just excellent. So I leave a link in the description below for GPUrisers.com in general. Feel free to go over and check them out. And they also have a brand new YouTube channel. I'll leave a link above. All right, so I've never used this CPU before, or this motherboard before, so I don't know what's gonna happen, or if anything's gonna happen. But this is the screen that I hooked up to the motherboard. So I guess all we can do is hope for the best. These GPUs here are spinning, so that's good. These 2 are on. This one just fired up. Weird. All right, let me get into HIVEOS. I want to see if this thing's even registering, because right now nothing is coming up on the screen. I'm assuming I'll have to put it into a GPU, but let's see. All right, so while I wait for this thing to see if it boots up, all the GPUs spin, but I don't see it registering in Hive just yet. I want to at least get all of these other rigs back online, because there's really no reason to have them off. This one I'm going to have to start up and basically shut the miner off right away, because I have to adjust all the clocks. So let's do that. So I'm interested to see what the amps are going to be pulling on all of these rigs. Alright, so it all looks like it's coming on, but then it will not post inside HIVEOS. It's like the internet right here stops blinking at some point, which is kind of strange. So I gotta figure out what's going on with it, but either way guys, I'm gonna end this video. Next time you guys see me here, I'll have that thing up and running hopefully. Next video, we'll be getting all these GPUs installed, hanging up here on that good old RevTech motherboard. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.